Hayashinarim Matali, so he's sleeping naked with his towels. Dark Lachod with towels, he has to make a break with it or press with the towels. Al Libo on his heart. And then you should read. Mishum Belibero also because the thing is if it was hard to seeing his erva it's usher for to read Piyashma. Luadin in the Haga, Luadin and Libo raw erva Slaveros. Even if CO2 if it would be as hard as seeing the erva of his friend, it would be usher from the tour. The mission verse says, Hayashna, I'm sleeping naked. Hamakaber Tavas Lashon, Gemara, the Makaber is taking the language of the Gemara, Shem Brachas of Gimel and Beis, the Shem Shachan, Lishna, there is applicable this language. Abu bin Yanina, but in our topics, Wooden, Kishai Yashim, Machaluka, same thing would be if he's sleeping with his cloak or whatever, below him time without pants, or his undershirt without pants. Gam Kendi Nahachim, same thing would be have this din. This one the Akronim. The Aser, Kedivei Torah, or Lavarach, also with the Torah, in order to make a bracha. This from Rabbeinu Yonah. Shom bracha ad shiyad bigadav hakatonas until he searches, attaches with his hands, any bracha until he attaches with his hands to the cloak, the makom ha'alev in the place of the heart, olimat or below that milibo kadeshia hefsik ben libo lerva in order that it should be, or below his heart, in order there should be a separation between his heart and his erva. This from the alef and the acronym. So he has to make a break. Perish the yid with the talus al libo, he should press the talus onto his heart. Kadesh yeh hefsik bein libo of erva, in order should be a separation between his heart and the erva. Abu Balafach, he also without this will be us. No libo mechas, the talus granted his heart is covered with the talus, al buf which is on his body. Hariyadayan libo eve erva bahadiyadad, he still is heart and erva on the same place. In davar there's no separation between the sunnah madzon the yom tov and the elirab and the sharachona. Ali Bo on his heart. Vodim and Chotis with Talis, the same thing would be if he separated with his talus. Miftachas Libo under his heart. Kadeshi Hefsit being Libo the Erbo, another should be a separation between his heart and the Erbo. Afilim Libo's Megula, the glamour even his heart completely open until the Kamas Sif above. Mishum Delibo, because his heart sees. The Erbo Beria Tali Makmana, because the heart, the Erbo with seeing Hashem based on. This is from the Chai Adam. Okay, the cost of lawyer of Erva Stavers, it says you shouldn't see with you a distortion of matter. We've seen the language of seeing with the heart. Okay, the cost of the Libra and my heart saw many wisdom. But if we are about this, this is from the Hagrad, the same Mashman Primogadam, and so much Mashman Primogadam. But then, that people in Libra, even if his heart is covered with the cloth, will have to make a separation between him and it and its heart and his erva. Sorry. So after the hay, I've also gam came with. You also have to have his erva also covered. If it's completely open, it's kim is also the cross in the Torah. That many fun agree that it's also to read from the Torah. It would be totally also to read the Raisa. This is from the Pri Megadim, the Mishra Zav, and the Graz, and Chayadim. I feel in Mekusa Betalus, even if it's covered with the whole talus, Gamkin al Rosh, even if he covers with the talus, all Gamkin al Rosh over his head, so he puts his elbow, his head, and his heart, or whatever. The end of the Shulu and his eye, Shelu Yuchaliros is Erva, and he won't be able to see the Erva. Shalunam lo Stira Erva, because it doesn't say you shouldn't be seeing the distortion of matter. Shouldn't see its distortion of matter. Elo Yira B'chad shouldn't be seen by you and distorted matter. Kolom V'shetehim Akusa Be'inin Shelu Yuchalaharos, and that means that it should be covered in a way that you're not able to see it, or feel or even to another person. Advice, I'm there for someone who's standing in his house which is totally naked, and he's totally naked. It's in the base of Magan of Ram. V'hoti Rosh HaCholon takes his head out of the window. Shlo Yira also shouldn't see his erva. After Pishachat is Bebeged Al Libo, and he places a separation on his heart with his separation with Beged on his heart. Harizela Yikra, this he still should not read Kriya Shram because it's given Erva Megula V'Tirat Meniras Device, since his erva is revealed and it can be seen while he's to someone who's in the house. Aval hayashin arm, but when someone is sleeping bakila in a certain type of canopy bed, she'eno gavoa asar tvachim, that the canopy bed is not 10 tvachim high. V'hotzi al rosho kutzala, and he takes his head out of it. The gam causes the eighth davar lahafsik bein libel erva, and also makes a separation to whatever thing between his heart and his erva. Apple pisha ervaso megula bakila, even though his erva is revealed inside the canopy bed, Arizak and Machusa Vitalis is like covered with the towel. Given she'ena kilo gavoa, so it's tvachim. Since the canopy bed is not 10 tvachim high, shem kisuyela, it's called covered. It can be malbush like clothes. Bein a doma levi is not similar to a house. Shehu kolak v'rishus la'atzma makes separation of it just for itself. V'unu cholakanos aleha shem kisu can't make a chain, make a nickname for it, the name of a covering. Al kenos different also. V'cheinim and so on. And by similar, if it's there's soa in the house for Dolchai Amos within 4 amos. Hotzi Rosh alone, and he takes his head out of the window. Also the Koshmiyash Kriyashma with the also to read Kriyashma. The Shadina Rosh Basarub, because we throw his head where the majority of his body is, and he's with the excrement. This on the Magen Avraham. Rotzalom with the Asula Afilu Ladas material in the common. That means to say that it's also even according to material later on. The Simmons Ayin Vav, Sevdad, Ayin Sham, look there, Ayin B'Primigan, look there. If he puts his head into a room, which has in it excrement, also Gamkin Likuliam, that would also be also according to everyone that close to read. Upon him, Hatsoa Neganin, still the excrement is opposite his eyes. Udas the Raj, according to Raj, Rahamu, Simmons Ayin Test, the Sevbez, also Rafilu, Old Maid, Bukot, is also even be standing on the outside, negative Pasach opposite the door. Kimichat Soa connected since the Soa is opposite him and expands the doorway in the way, but still he can see it. I am shown. This is from the previous Gadim. Roes sees his erva. I am there. I am looking there. I am the field with the Avid and Kar Kriyashma. Even with the Avid to read Kriyashma, if his follower Dam cause you would have to repeat those. The thing will come from Gadim Simon Cliff and proven from the Mikrim. Gadim B'Simon I involve the Yeshua Lebron. Say and the Yishavim will say. Odin will Hashem further proven there that Kriyashma holds the in Berchosad, that when you repeat Kriyashma, you repeat it with his brachos and Karva Kriya, Libel Erv, if you read it with a seeing of his heart to his Erva. The Hachat Tekino Chacham is what the Chacham set up. Abu Bashar brachos, but other brachos usually stop with the Yavid and Yasser. This to be stopping if you go, if the Yavid, if you can do Chazar. So brachos Sahaka. Okay. Machayyadim Klal Gimel, Din Lam Gimel, and the Chayyadim Klal Gimel and Din Lam Gimel Mishna Zab called out Mashma. Yesh Lahakom B'Diavad, and Gamlin and Tefillah is also be made with B'Diavad also in the rest of prayer. B'Dover had B'Dover the Yisur Rahman with Rabbanim is something which matters only to Rabbanim. With the Yisur only to Rabbanim, you can be made to and not have to repeat it. I'm there, Lachal like the Hashem and Kafei Hey. The after the Yesh Litzvos, it's possible you could grab Kavasa like him in Yezer in regards to this. Then start out Rashi, Rash, Amido, Hamuva Betosvos, and you can combine the opinion of Rashi and Rashi's Talmud, which is Branatosis Brachos Kafei Amid Beis. Or you see Roeris Kavero. Hainu Shein has to be in Libo Levis Kavero, that means there's no separation between his heart and the Arab of his friend. This one the Magen Avraham. You go into Shneim Shofim by Rumim, for example, they're both sleeping naked, Miskasim, and they're covered. This one the Prima Godim, the Talis Echel, they're covered in one Talis. They aim Rechokim and Zemizah that they're far, even though they're far away from each other. I understand Besarm Lugel, that means that their flesh isn't touching each other. Ela Sheneim that connected up, but their faces are to each other. Ru Asmo Yishlo have Zigbain Libel Erva. He himself has a separation between his heart and his Erva. So he's wearing, or whatever, he's got a covering over his heart. Apple Pekan also Misham leaves the Libero Erva, no, not covering his heart. Not covering over something to stop his heart from seeing his Erva. Even still, he's also got his Libero Erva, it's hard to see the Erva of his friend. Kigo and Shneim on the B'Maim, for example, to both of them are standing in water. This is in the Bach. Believe we ain't a raw erva afterwards, the heart doesn't see his own erva. The vision mechutz veg and the mat libus is covered with a cloth underneath or clothes underneath his heart. El shirua erva kaver machine and mechutz he sees the erva of his friend which is not covered. Also after she'ino chutz l'mayim, it's also even if his eyes are outside of the water. Then we come welcome libro still his heart sees. This from the back. I mean, even his eyes wouldn't be a problem because it's clear, right? Clear stuff doesn't count. These parallels. Yashin arm, so he's sleeping naked. Quote, let me just say, even if he takes his head out of his house, they shouldn't be with his erbum. He puts the under one type covering. Nikomokomos is still on to the liberal erbum because the heart still sees the erbum. And she also until he makes the press on his heart. Will have to make a separation between his heart and the erbum. Also, puts his house in it, so even if he doesn't take his heart out of his head out of his house, Shari Ali days after this came up from a bay, Brachos, and Bryce and Brachos of Gimel, on the base, I jump. What? So, because I'm a Mr. Bilgan, because of the lack of no failure of him, the Imachas Libo, the bag of the plant, covers his heart with a separate wagon. Sagi Afim Ino Madvik Alibo Sagi, it's enough even if he doesn't attach to his heart. He presses to his heart. Mishum Libo because of his heart. I'm Mishnah Berura Bedin Kaflam. Hey, look at the Mishnah Berura Kaflam. Dim Hotzi Rosh of Libo Chutzlach. If he takes his heart and his head outside of the canopy bed, also be awesome. Navagilu who kulo Chutzlach, as if he's completely outside. Dim who only an arm of Migdal, if he's standing naked in a big tower. Shell ate him of wood. Mostly Rosh of the then takes his head outside. Mistabig Yerushalmi, it's a Sabig in the Yerushalmi, and Dino Kabayas for all, is it doesn't have the din of a house or a tent. Also, Odina Kikli, or is it then like a vessel? Have become a mal, which is like wearing something, this tower. Or Rabbeinu Yerucham, Posik Vizam, the Kulei Passion does this like to be Mako. Af Shaloye Libo Roas, everybody else however you have to make sure that your heart doesn't see the Erva. The canal, the Gabikila, as we said earlier, by the Kila. Call them Miss Barbara Nevi Magan. From all clear from Magan ground. Lufiz according to his mashman sheets, it seems simple. It's mashma simply. Dim after Erchod Omid Arm Betokli. If someone is sitting naked in a kli, like a barrel, Nachshav Hakli Kamal Malvish, the kli will count as his clothes. Mahani of his Kishim Mistak, but in a cloud, it will help if he turns his eyes away from to the outside. But then class of it, and I guess you'd have to cover your heart. Well, class of a drisha of Yeridea Simon Reish, and similar rights to drisha and Yeridea Simon Reish. But Taz Mahmud Zev Sham Taz Mahmud there, over there. But Thomas Prima God, the love of the Prima God, Tame on them, we come up on Surah, the half sleep being legal erva. Until you would have to make a half between your heart and your erva. As it says, the law doesn't make ketonus no better than a undershirt. Okay. Havrochet, or Maimon is sleep washing himself, and he's naked in the water. Absolutely. Which is clear. He wrote to Lishtos and he wants to drink the water. Yachata Bebeg, when he should cover himself with the clothes, he must leave it below his heart. But another his heart shouldn't see the erva. When he makes the bracha. The dafka Bebeg, you have to use clothes. Av v'yadayim lo mahavikisa, but covering your heart with your hands would not count as a covering. Haga v'hu adin im mechus mechas rosho b'yadav. Same thing if he covers his head with his head with his hands. Lomik kisa doesn't count as a covering. Kisa rosho covering the head. Ayin lekam v'simen tzadi alef. Look later on in tzadi alef. This is when Trumas Hadashim b'shem or zira. Bim hayu amayim ahurim. The water was like disturbed or okay. Shane of near behind. We can't see his limbs in there. Can't see it, yeah. Most of the crows who betochan is able to read this and he's inside of them. Who shall hey reich around is this long? This is it that they should be the. He doesn't have a bad smell from it. If may leave betochan if his heart is not inside the water, rakla malam and amayim is just above the water. After tulim shari even if it would be clear, it would be mutter when it's his own error, right? Soon to be atmo. Was it someone else's error? Could see water. Oh, leave it over there, but you can always do. You just can't use your own arms. Okay. Because you can't press down. Okay. Yeah. It has to be bag. It should be covered with clothes. Pirish damayim alpha bishahim of tulun in the water, even though they are clear. This is from the Beis Yosef. It still helps them as a covering in regards to the water to be covering. In other, it shouldn't be also because of having a revealed erva. Then water is not revealed. It's nice and on condition he takes his head out of the water. Will he stop the erva not stare through the water to edit erva? Even though since the water is clear, then you're also going to see them through the erva. Still another issue because of his heart seeing the erva. Even shall live in my erva mime since the heart is with the erva in the water. Alkain Zerach Chazos the beged Mamata the Libo, therefore he has to cover with the beged below his heart. This came as far as Milas Muhammad is clear from the Muhammad is really Rabbi Sharafon and other Rakhmanim. Kadeshi have to be in Libo the erva, nor should we have to put in his heart in the erva. Well, then imposes the baggage al libo, same thing. We put a baggage on his heart. Gam mahani, not just below his heart, but you could even do on his heart. You can obviously like we said earlier in Sefal. Kishi Barko is making the bracha. Well, then Kishi has the roast show when he's covering his head. Shei's cancer, so he should cover his head. This is the guy in the Adam. Shlo Yivarach will give the rosh shouldn't make a bracha with an uncovered head. Abu Yadayim with hands. Beinim Lakas al libo, whether he's covering his heart, or Beinim Bain Libel Erva, whether between his heart and the Erva, he has that separation. This is from the Lavush, Alef and Pamuzas, the Rabba, and the Mordechai, Berka Yosef, Klemash Medachachayim, Simislash Medachachayim, Medulot Prisha, and not like the Prisha, Ulavush, and the Bush is not like those. Okay. Beinim Mechaz al Libel, Beinim Libel Erva, you can't use your hands. Unless you're attaching your arms into your cloak, as we're going to say later on. By the time the ink go from the reason is because you can't have one body covering the other parts of the body, so your arms are the same as your body, and doesn't count as a separation. The daf could be a dime, it's only with his own hands. If someone else would take their hands and cover your heart, it would be okay. This one, the pre-Kaddish and the Shara Kohanim. Lo mikri, it doesn't count as a covering. Grosso lomer, linin shehem mutter levarach, another should be able to mutter today in bracha, or lahotzi prepare v'shar divrik. This should say all other words. Kedush manakant le'el b'simen beis l'kaman b'simen tzadi alef mishnah. Later on, simen tzadi alef in the mishnah. Oh my gosh. Achorim, which is messed up. Bimhem tzulim, if they're clear. Okorn, what you can do is you can dirty them up, Yeragla, with his feet, shake them up and make them more turbulent. The dafka b'karka shayach is that only with ground is applicable. This avu Lo b'kli, but not in a barrel. She'ein bo operative, it doesn't have any dirt and tar or plaster. King goes to Magaram Ram says, Abu Azru Simon Kafkas, because of the Azru and Kasim Kafkas rights, I feel the as Atmo Begigis shaft, even if you're washing yourself in a barrel, it's still applicable that you can make it all turbulent and it will be not clear. Rechel no bad smell. I in the comment Simon Pevav, look later on Pitzim Pevav, Mishnah Beresham, the Mishnah right there. Raklamala, just above. And then it would all be okay if his heart is outside and his head is outside. The water would count now as a separation between his heart and his nerve because the heart and air run on the same place. We should also be careful that his eyes should be outside of the water below you stop the canal and not stare at the air as we said earlier. The law if is no better than if the air would be in a glass covering ayin hay sif hay the usher that we send ayin hay sif the thought. In the the person hugs himself with his arms. They need like a hefsek would count this as the judges as a hefsek. Okay. We done it like a hefsek. Perish im only b'mayim standing in water which is full with him, which is very clear. Legal and gam kain tochamayim, his heart is also in the water. But tochel hefsek being legal ever, he has to make it there once. He has to make a separation between his heart and his erva. Daibazel hefsek is not so this to use his arms and hug himself. Make a hefsek. After the gav the piece of alma v'yad of mavor v'sifbeiz laman. Even though we said earlier that covering in general with his hands doesn't help. Okay, so yeah, I thought that you need to class on this. This one left on Hamudas nearly robbing the Birk Yosef man before, right? That was saying this is better when you're hugging yourself. When I found the human ain't dark and shall be adam is from the kabig out from kaf. This is not normal for people to hug themselves like this. Who also can is doing this? Mikri of it counts as a separation. After who go find go female soul is one body, but then you see my front of this song, this was the opponent agreeing this from the bush and the Birk Yosef, and the Rafahim and the grass, the Chayadim, the sheriff on the other front. Look around to blue, not like from the root, if you found this Shema for him, is there what's your mouth about this? Because you hold it with below him from time when he's going with a cloak without any pants on. Who mad big beyond about live and he presses with his hands on his cloak. I'll lay on the heart. Only tafas leave more under his heart. He didn't have to be in level there, but in order to make separation between him and his heart. Gamli did who sure even if one to them they always agree that would be okay. Question is if you're in water and you're just hugging yourself because it's weird, does that make it okay? And this is Birullah, let's see it. Okay, then you can't see his Arizona. Others say Yosef Mishain, this is talking about the dirty water. Others say Yosef Mishar, Mishaim Mahaya Lavash Palak, the leaf of the It's better than if he was wearing clothes without pants. After Sham Gamkain in above near Behem, even though there really you can't see his limbs in there, Bila Malaf above. Mishum the him the Bukim Laguf because they're attached to his body. The Dami Kahara Samichta, and similar to the case of like just an extension of land, next to land. Kidisa the Gemara says in the Gemara. Mikri Ali Days of Shein Libro Erbo. Now, even though there you can't see his limbs when he's up above in this clothes. So why is these dirty water better? Mishum the him the vukim lagu because they're attached to his body this dirty water. The damakar smell is similar to like part of one long land or part of the land. Keith Gemara says in Gemara. Mikri days are shameless bro it comes. It's called through this. His heart doesn't see his erva. I'm Vishlim and Sadi Alice Magan of Rum Sif Cotton base. So this is Sadi Alice base. Sure. Yesh misham mishanashim yacholim that levarach l'dispalo. There's those that say that woman is able to able to make a bracha and to daven kishen levushos cholak even when they're wearing their undershirt or cloak. Application Mafsika from Mass, even there's no separation below the alef from the heart, still fine. Hagam. Vimhim Marumos, and if they're completely naked, Shlarok should hey erva shall hand to Hulkas Bakaka, they have to have their erva pressed into the ground. Oshi Oshavos al Shar Davar to be sitting on something else, which will cover the erva. Nechol Mavarach, they want to make a bracha. But Hatam, they're boss in the mouth of Mo, they bought their ervas at the very bottom. They in Haleb Yel Shalo Yach, the rest of their heart is not able to see it. And Mikomakum, Im Hein Omdim Arumos, if they are standing naked, Yesh Bam Isser Echa, there's a different answer. The Hainu Isser Gilierva, there's an Isser to have revealed erva. Lo Mitzad Haleb, El Mitzad, and not because it's just the heart, El Mitzad Shanamar, Lo Yirava Erva, we shouldn't have any other distorted matter, when you can't have your erva revealed. But Rasul Barach can be also make a bracha in that case. El Tzricha Shetei Shabbos, you have to be sitting down, like Moshe Pasuk Al Zez, and Ramah says about this. Shal Yidei Yeshivasa Panam Shalamat Mechus, so that you're sitting down, her bottom part is going to be covered. The Ein Ervas nearest to the Erva is not going to be seen. Mashi Pasuk Ramah says, the Oz Ein Libo Ra Ervas Shalem, then his heart doesn't see his Erva. Ulam Dak Liban, it doesn't mean specifically their heart. The Liban Lav Lav Hafi Ein Ra Ervas, because his heart anyway doesn't see his Erva. Ela Al Shalot Zehebekile Erva Lagam Kamer, in order that it shouldn't be her Erva completely revealed. The Torah Sofer, it's a Torah Sofer, it's a Rachlam, if Oz Ein Nero Erva, so Shalem, then doesn't see their Erva of theirs, it's from the corner. Me'alef from the heart, Vabach Holik is fear lay, the Bach argues and holds, the Gambi Yisha Beina Tefsaka, Bein Lay there, you also by a woman needs to have a separation between the heart and the Erva. I feel like she Yesh Lom Albash, even she has a clothes on. So the ties of the shaft of the grass and Shulchan Shlomo and the Magniform the shaft on him. I will share one Miskim, but the other one will be the Psak of Shulchan Aruch, the Psak of Shulchan Aruch, and Yodea, Sim Reish, the Maskid, Taz, the shaft, the Taz, and the shaft, including with them, the female Shapos of the Shulchan Aruch, according to the Shulchan Aruch includes Po, the ain shaft, each shall leave the Ross, the Erva is not applicable by a woman that her heart sees the Erva. And the Teres the Baruch Baruch, Tvila, she's able to make the Baruch on the Tvila because she will message with Soto Mime when she's sitting in the water. Standing in the water. After you are dying, a room she's still naked, the Mishum Gila Erva in Bezekas, because having revealed their Erva there isn't, because he's covered in water. The mind will show him from Makisa, the water counts as a covering. We also told Shia Libu from Lamalam and a mime, it's better to have her heart outside of the water. It's not showing out the issue that we must there even if it will be a woman, even if it will be a man. Moshe calls him Razing Maset, Bagas Base and Nagas Base. Oh, she said, look, the Rosel will have to be little Erva to attach her arms in order to make a separation between her heart and her Erva. Same plus the Kachmadan, that's what the Kachmadan says. Who had then in Ocheris for Hanglan, same thing would be if she makes the water turbulent with her feet. Shloi Hea Varan near at the hand, they shouldn't be able to see her limbs in them. Exactly the Kuli Amahani again, this would all work according to everyone who said earlier. Maybe they showed Nashim Rumos Umdos Vice to there's other naked woman standing in the house of being Tobel. Pasha the Trichum the Ace Bracha, plus they knew the time of the Bracha, Lahakazir Panaha. She needs to turn her face away, remove from and her body from them. The af im nema the makam hamikva who rishos from the even if he says the mikvah its own rishos, momahani kedemucha who kam b'simen ayin tas sif beis ayin sham. It's clear the simen ayin tas sif beis in fair. Two close which is pressed into there. Ratzalom into vukus and mechusus bankarka, which means they're attached and covered in the ground. Mashin Kibish is not true by man, the little shaft, so it's not applicable to cover it with by sitting down. Ambesim, give boltus because the private parts will stick out. Vine mug and rum to the common simon. Zel Reshvav, look later on simon Reshvav, the dice of the af, imhag, both nearest and hak between the back, the cheek is sticking out. There isn't big makbid. The Agbos in the Hemli Shomer because Agbos don't have an Arab, aren't counted as an Arab. The same master Katas and Bergrod is not still from the background. Really, Rabbi positive the Agbos, Yishlam Mishomer when Agbos says, still has to be done. Okay.